Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome, everybody, into the Overreaction Buffalo Postgame Show on a special night, Sunday night. Postgame was Saturday. Brought to you by the Market Dominator team on the Buffalo Rumblings Vidcast Network, presented by Picasso's Pizza. Treat yourself to the most flavorful pizza on game day. Picasso's. We are Buffalo Pizza, shipping local and nationwide. Order online at picassospizza.net. I am the voice of the Overreaction Buffalo Post Game Show. My name is Joe Miller, and you can find me, as always, on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. If you're not on Twitter yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. I honestly don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's a pretty cool community over there that's not Facebook. I left Facebook some time ago. Not left completely. I don't really post there too much. It's just a weird place. So as I noodle with my camera here real quick. Yeah, so jump over to Twitter. If you're not following me already, please follow me. And if you follow the Overreaction Buff at Overreaction BUF handle, I will follow you back on that one for sure. That's your best way to stay up to date on everything that I've got going on. But please do me a favor, whatever platform you are consuming this podcast on, whether you're listening to it in audio form or live now, like, subscribe. I am also Super Chat Live, which basically means if you want to get my attention, if you want to ask me a question, please do me a favor and super chat me. I am recording a podcast. So this is a monologue is what this is called. So do me a favor. If you want to get my attention, if you want to be a part of the show, please super chat me. Victory Monday is upon us. It is officially Victory Sunday, but Victory Monday is upon us. Happy Victory Monday to you, Bills Mafia, and to only you, Bills Mafia. Wildest Dreams Land, my fam. And on that note, if you have not yet seen it, there is an official Wildest Dreams Land t-shirt, and I was wearing it last week, and you can get this. It comes in what? Red, gray, blue, maybe white. I think there's a sweatshirt version of it. You can get this t-shirt at buffonweck.com. There's also the shirt that I'm wearing right now, the Overreaction Sports shirt, which is me. It's actually me and Jay Spence, but you know, for all intents and purposes, it's me. So jump over to buffonweck.com and get yourself, for Christmas, it's still right around the corner, you got time, a Wildest Dreams Land t-shirt. So it's good to have all of you with me. There's a whole bunch of people up in the chat. Daniel Gowries, Elliot, what's up, dude? Elliot Eisler's in the room. Scott Summers in the room. Who else is in here? McMaddy's in the room. Tracy Fictor's in the room. My buddy Randy Johnson, his son Eric Johnson. So the whole Johnson clan is here. Mike is in the room. Mike Kinsley. Good to see you, Mike. Yeah, there's a bunch of you. A whole bunch of you up in the chat. And no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter how you are consuming this show, whether this podcast finds you around a cup of coffee, at the gym with your AirPods in, or on the drive to work, or possibly even watching me live right now, let me just say one last time, welcome. Super good to have you. Before we move on or go any farther, like we always want to do, we want to give the title sponsor his time. So take a quick second to listen to the Market Dominator team.
Hey, I'm John.
And I'm Scott.
And we are the Market Dominators.
As the buyer specialist on our real estate team, I love helping people find and buy homes. But really, it all comes down to having a strategy, a winning strategy, much like our Bills.
And as the listing specialist, it's really important that we win too when we sell a house.
Yep.
So we like to educate, advocate, negotiate,
and dominate.
Listen, my good friend Joe Miller, we're so grateful we have the opportunity to sponsor your show and all of Bills Mafia who tunes in and listens in. So if you're looking to sell or buy in real estate anywhere in the country, you reach out to me directly and we will respond. 716-570-3298. And to all our Bills Mafia and family out there and friends,
I have a feeling he was going to say go Bills and it cut off. That was amazing. That's called Joe just getting that video literally about 20 minutes ago and not watching it ahead of time. So that was clutch. So on behalf of Scott Cantillis, John Spascheck, the Market Dominator team, go Bills. And if you are in the market to buy or sell a home, please give the Market Dominator team a call. 716-570-3298. The number again, 716-570-3298. And they can help you whether you are in Western New York State, or outside the state as well, as far as I know. I believe that's how that whole thing works. But yes, so good to have every single one of you. The Buffalo Bills, 11-3, baby. The Buffalo Bills are 11-3. Yesterday, the 8-5 Miami Dolphins headed into Orchard Park, Highmark Stadium, looking to shorten the division lead on the 10-3 Buffalo Bills, but it just was not meant to be. The Bills continue to sit atop the AFC East and the AFC, now with a record of 11-3. The Chiefs won today, Sunday, as did the Bengals. So the Chiefs are still just a half game behind the Bills. Bengals, I think, 1 game behind the Bills, but there is obviously the big Cincinnati-Buffalo showdown in Cincinnati in 2 weeks. But what does this mean? Well, right now, not really anything, outside of the fact that the Bills have now made the playoffs 4 straight years. They've also made the playoffs 4 out of the last 5 years, or I should say, yes, 4 out of the last 5 years. Or I'm sorry, I got that wrong. 5 out of the last 6 years. So 4 straight years. I should have put a comma in my notes, and I didn't. So they've made the playoffs 4 straight years and 5 out of the last 6 years, which is remarkable when you consider where we were 2016, right? Going into 2017. Where we were 2017, before we drafted Josh Allen, what Josh Allen looked like in 2018. And then obviously going into 2019, when Aaron Schatz from the Football Outsiders said that in every simulation that we've run, the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen at quarterback, and they'd run 1,000 simulations, never make the playoffs. So that was 2019, and the Bills and Josh Allen defied all odds even back then. But 4 straight years, 5 of the last 6 years, the Bills have officially clinched a playoff berth and are on the inside track to win the AFC East for the third straight year. Absolutely incredible. And that they can do, Bills Mafia, with a win in Chicago next week on Christmas Eve. It is legitimately wildest dreams land for those of us who are Bills Mafia. Got our first super chat. This is from McMaddy. McMaddy, thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you for being a part of the show. The Bills have this amazing ability to make wins as stressful as possible. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk a little bit. It's I will say this. I wasn't overly nervous during the game, but there was, and I'm gonna go more into it. There was moments in the game as I was sitting in the stands that I was just like, please don't have us lose. Like, not to this team on this night after all the weather hype in Florida, like earlier this year, and then all the weather hype this year. But yeah, it was a little bit of a nail biter, but stick around for the story of this game, because to me, I'm going to do a very good job of kind of creatively describing what you're talking about and why it's important. As far as the Bills, as you said it, making wins as stressful as possible. So McMaddy, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you, bro. Yes, it's wonderful. But Josh Allen said in his post game, that from here on out, it's 1 game seasons, due to the 1 seed and then the actual playoffs. So the Bills know the prize that's in front of them. They know the goal that is in front of them. Their goal, the only goal they have at this point in time, is to win out. And the reason to win out is to effectively get the number 1 seed, get yourself a first round bye, and then make the road to the playoffs, go through Buffalo. Now, if the Kansas City Chiefs falter, and then we will just assume that the Bengals faltered as well, because the Bills beat the Bengals in Cincinnati, it provides the Bills a little bit of a cushion. However, you can't just assume Saturday next week that they're going to have a cushion. So for them, 1 game seasons. And oh, by the way, they play the Chicago Bears next week, which, if Justin Fields is healthy, somebody actually tweeted or texted me earlier and was like, can you imagine Justin Fields against this tackling defense? And I was like, no, and I don't want to imagine it yet. Can I just get to Victory Monday and enjoy the beginning of my week watching all the highlight shows and Good Morning Football and all that good stuff? But yes, to Josh's well-stated point, 1 game seasons from here on out. due to the 1 seed, and then literally actual 1-game seasons in the playoffs. So what an exciting day it was yesterday. What an exciting time to be a Bills fan. There's a really weird noise coming from my upstairs. My wife is cooking, and I think she's prepping for Christmas dinners and stuff like that. So I think she's got the blender going. And it about vibrated me out of my studio down here. But man, this game, when you think about this football game, what a weird weather day. What an absolute weird. It's almost like Western New Yorkers, Bills Mafia, the national media kind of got soft recently. Yeah, there was some snow on Friday, lake effect, and they were predicting it early in the week, and people were like, what's going to happen? Is it going to be 4 inches? Is it going to be 7? And 4 to 7 quickly turned into 7 to 12, and 7 to 12 quickly turned into 12 to 24. And the NFL started getting, there was national media guy, or not national media guys, and even local media guys on Twitter complaining about, the fact that they're having this football game on Saturday and they're not moving it, and people got to travel in and travel out. And it's just weird. It's weird to me how soft we have gotten when you think about this. Now, look, I enjoy the home field advantage that is the weather that we get. And the reality is if you're doing this properly and you're going to these games dressed right, there was some dude there in shorts at this football game. People taking their shirts off. Like, it's crazy. But if you're there, you can sustain being in 32 to 25 degree weather. It's not too difficult. Now, 7 or 4 or -4, whatever it was last year during the Patriots game, yikes, that's a little too cold for me. But to be worried about snow and getting in and out, it just, to me, there was just a lot of flack, like the NFL catching media heat, right, for not moving this football game. It's like, come on, can we not do this? But my dad actually bailed on the game on Wednesday. So when the news came in, the rumors came in that there was going to be snow and it was going to be cold, my dad's like, yeah, I'm out. I was like, okay. So I offered McKenna the ticket and she jumped at it, my daughter McKenna. And as the week kind of went on, as I was just describing, 4 to 7, 7 to 12, 12 to 24, there was deteriorating weather reports, to include it was supposed to go from 33 degrees at kickoff down to 25 degrees and 30-mile-an-hour winds in blizzard conditions. And I was like, dear God, no. Like, let's not do this. And I gave McKenna probably 15 outs to get out of this game, and she was just legitimately determined. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm texting her and I'm like, baby, if you don't want to go, we don't have to go. Oh no, I want to go. The next text, we're gonna have to wear like 7 layers. Are you sure you want to go? Yes, period. Like, it was the response. I tried to get her to, I was working my way to effectively not have to be at this football game. And even as I was doing that, I'm thinking to myself, this could be one of those historical games, right? The 2017 Color Rush game against the Colts and all that snow. And there's a lot of memories and people remember being there and blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, yeah, but the snow and the cold and the wind and yada, yada, yada. But we went. We went. And I'll be honest with you, before I get to the game information, the game stuff, this was the weirdest journey to the stadium that I've ever had. So 2 hours before the game started, we made our way to the stadium, and Southwestern from top 7 corners, which isn't 7 corners anymore. McKinley, Southwestern, 28, all those, not Bayview Road, but I'm talking about, the other road that used to be right there, like 7 corners. Everybody that's from Buffalo knows what I'm talking about. From there to the stadium parking lot, 3 lanes deep parking lot, nobody moving. As we got closer, the stadium lots were closed. All the side lots were closed. We had to turn around and do a U-turn and go back. Burt's was closed. The ECC lot was closed. 2 hours before the game, everybody was closed. And there was literally 2,000, 3,000 cars on Southwestern that basically had no place to go. We ended up parking at the Fuji Grill, Burger King, like little parking lot right there, and walked whatever that is, 1.5 miles, 2 miles, to the stadium, which was not ideal. It was okay, but it wasn't necessarily ideal. I have never seen a situation, traffic like that, trying to get into that stadium. And then obviously the walk back was fine. It gives you an opportunity to warm up your toes, right? Although the snow at that point in time was like smashing me in the face. It was strange. The whole situation, the whole day was phenomenal. I'm just going to leave you with that. Like, the whole day, 100% phenomenal. start to finish, even the hemming and hawing that I went through in my own personal space, the whole thing was amazing. Now, the game, I was there. The snowballs. So we're going to talk about the snowballs briefly, and then we're going to get into the actual game. So the snowball thing, and it's funny because I saw a bunch of people today at church, and they were asking me about the snowballs and yada, yada. And I was like, oh, there was way more than you even saw on camera. Like there was they were coming down like streamers. It was embarrassing. The snowballs were embarrassing on every level. There is no level where it wasn't embarrassing. People were chucking them at officials. People were chucking them at Dolphins players on the Dolphins sidelines. They were chucking them at cameramen. So the dude that's in the big giant rolling camera, like the sideline camera that's like on a crane, they were chucking them at that guy. They were just chucking them into the corner end zones. I don't know why the 4 corner end zones, but for some reason, everybody was not coming from the end zones. They were coming from the corner end zones. People were just throwing snowballs into the corner end zones. And it wasn't necessarily always unlike what is being reported, at Dolphin players. It's not like the fans were just chucking snowballs at Dolphin players. They weren't. When the teams were at the opposite end of the field, people were throwing snowballs into the corners of the end zones on the other side for no reason. They were coming from the upper deck. They were coming from the lower bowl. They were coming from everywhere. It was embarrassing. It was absolutely 100%. I sat there in embarrassment the whole time, just because this is a nationally televised football game. And I know, I get it. You know, it happens in Pittsburgh. It happens in Cleveland. It happens in Chicago. It happens in New England. Any place that there's a snow game like that, inevitably people, the PA announcer and the refs have to step in. Please stop throwing snowballs on the field. You will be ejected. You're, subject to fines and prosecution and blah, 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 blah. I get it. It happens everywhere, but it was ridiculous. And the Buffalo Bills get made fun of a lot. This organization over the years has gotten made fun of, about, well, if it snows, wait for the call out, ha, 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 because the Bills are going to ask, to pay people $10 or $15 an hour to go down and shovel. This is why. So the next time you're one of the people that pipe up about the Bills and make fun of them for like having people go down to the stadium and shovel at 6:00 in the morning, this is why the Bills do that, to get the snow out of the stands for this reason. So people can't chuck snowballs onto the football field. It's why they do it. The PA person, the dude on the PA, asked several times for people to stop throwing snowballs. The refs, obviously, as you know, threatened penalties. They stopped the game. It wasn't really a game delay. They stopped the game for about 35 seconds. But the problem with the whole idea of the referee stopping the game and forcing a penalty upon the Bills, unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the fans against the Bills, is how do you know that those weren't Dolphin fans? And I'm not saying that all the snowballs. So I'm not saying that every snowball came from a Dolphin fan, but the snowball that comes and puts it over the top, the snowball that is like the one that makes a referee throw a flag, the snowballs being thrown at cameramen, the snowballs being thrown in the corner of the end zones. There were snowballs being thrown at Bills players in this football game. How do we know that they're only Bills fans doing that? So why are the Bills the ones being penalized? I don't know. At the end of the day, it's just not, it's not great, the whole entire situation. And I'm going to pivot now to Mike McDaniel. And Mike McDaniel in his post-game press conference said it got to a point of level of concern for his players, as he didn't want them to be hit, or he was afraid they were going to be hit by ice balls. Now, if you are from the North, if you're from Buffalo, there is a significant difference between a snowball, right, and an ice ball. When the Bills scored touchdowns and you saw the powder flying up into the air, right? The whole LeBron James powder move, and we've seen it happen all over stadiums, New England, here, whatever, and they're throwing the powder. If you can physically throw snow powder into the air, your first thought in your brain should be like, there's no ice balls. It's all powder. It's all snow. Now, it's packable powder. It's packable snow for sure. There was also 2 instances, if not 3. One of them I saw specifically, another one McKenna saw, and then the guy sitting next to me said it happened as well, where Mike McDaniel was literally on the sideline towards the warning track where the camera runs back and forth, goading the fans to throw snowballs at him. So he was down there. He was kind of having fun with it. He's like, yeah, come on. Like, can you hit me? Can you hit me? Type stuff. And And then to come out in his press game conference and then act like somehow he was worried for his players, worried for anybody, is just a little bit, in my opinion, ridiculous. He was a part of it for all intents and purposes, like legitimately a part of it. So there were no ice balls. Mike McDaniel was not concerned for his players. It was wildly embarrassing. It was 33 degrees. It was all fresh powder. There was no ice. This is where the rubber meets the road. And then I'm going to get into the actual game, right? Because we're already getting deep into this thing. It's unfortunate that at every football game, at every football stadium, and this is not a Bills Mafia thing, it's unfortunate that every game, baseball, football, hockey, you name it, to varying degrees, there are idiots who attend these football games. There's idiots that attend these events. I'm going to say the word a third time. Idiots who attend. And if you're listening to me right now and you were throwing snowballs onto the field in this game last night and you thought it was fun, I'm talking to you. You're the idiot. You are the idiot. And I just want to say thank you for embarrassing the rest of us, not only the rest of us that were in the stadium, but Bills Mafia across the nation. You're the idiot that embarrassed all of us. And if that makes you mad at me, I don't care, because it was ridiculous. So I don't scold or scorn or whatever fans, listeners, or anything else like that much, but this is a moment that the wooden spoon probably needs to be brought out. I don't understand how they didn't do a better job of finding the people through. They could have literally just focused the camera in the corner end zones, and like, because the veracity that the snowballs were coming in, and literally just that guy, that girl, that person, this, whatever, and like just taking it from the game. But for whatever reason, they didn't. And you might think I'm blowing it out of proportion. I don't. I was in the stadium. It was embarrassing. And people came up to me today and they were like, oh my gosh, it was so embarrassing seeing all those snowballs being thrown at the field. I haven't watched the first half back yet. I've watched the second half back. So tomorrow when I get to watch it back, I'll get a better feel for what the broadcast team said. They were awful as well, but that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, so I digress. I'm going to move on. So I don't want to waste too much time there. So in this football game, it was a great football game. It was an absolute wonderful game. The Dolphins made plays. The Bills made plays. You got, a Waddle touchdown. You got a Tyreek Hill touchdown in this football game. Mostert was running like crazy, and just like the week before, was leaving just a wake of Bills defenders in his path that couldn't seemingly tackle him. I don't have a count. I might do this tomorrow in my rewatch. I might go back and count how many times or how many plays Mostert or Ahmed were touched, tried to be tackled in the backfield, and they ended up getting 4, 5, 10, 67 yards after being contacted in the backfield. The Dolphins made a lot of plays in this game. They did not come out seemingly afraid of the weather. The weather, I would say, was probably a little bit on their side. 32 degrees, no snow, no wind. It was mild. We sat in the stands and it was warm. I mean, warm by warm standards when you're, in snow pants and jeans. And I think I had a pair of shorts on, and then snow boots, and then a t-shirt, sweatshirt, thermal shirt, starter jacket, you name it, knit cap, scarf. I mean, I was warm. It wasn't necessarily cold. So when you consider the Dolphins being there and the weather not, just a bit of wind would have changed the whole aspect of that game, in my opinion, for the Dolphins in the first 3 quarters. If the wind had been there 15 miles an hour, because when the wind did start to blow in the fourth quarter, it was bitey. It bit your cheeks a little bit. But great. It was a great game, aided by the fact that the Dolphins made plays. And when you talk about football, you want it to be competitive, don't you? I think you want it to be I don't think you want every team the Bills face to just lay down, or somehow the Bills to beat them by 25 points. You want to be entertained in some aspect, right? You want to be stressed. You want to root the team on, both on offense and defense. But having said that, the Bills were in control the entire first half. You got the Quentin Morris TD was beautiful. Just the way that the throw that Josh made on that touchdown and the catch that he made. Nyheim Hines, that touchdown actually happened directly away from me, so I could see that corner of the end zone. So when Josh turned, I could see Nyheim Hines clear, and I literally said, Nyheim Hines is wide open, like touchdown, and Josh flipped him the ball. That was a wonderful touchdown to Nyheim Hines. You know, they were holding the Dolphins to field goals in this football game, which, you know, against that team, against the Dolphins with a relatively good defense, right? With Jalen Waddle, with Tyreek Hill, with that offense, and Tua, who played a good football game. If you can hold them to field goals, you'll take it all day long, because we're going to score touchdowns. We're going to score touchdowns. Let's hold them to field goals. And that's a big essence or a big part of the bend and don't break defense, right? Bend to the point where they make mistakes, or bend to the point where they score field goals, but you don't break and allow them to score touchdowns. Well, that worked for a little while. The Dolphins continued to play hard. And by a lot of that, I mean, at times the Bills continued to let them run the ball all over them and kind of stay in the game. The running averages in this game, Raheem Mostert had almost 5 yards a carry without the long one. So if you remove the long run he had, he still averaged almost 5 yards a carry. And that doesn't include taking out all the no gain and short gain runs that he had in the fourth quarter. That Ahmed kid averaged 7.2 yards per carry. It was almost at times like the Bills didn't even expect them to run the football. You're in a football game in the weather, 32 degrees, snow is the whole week, snow is expected. The whole entire week, everybody went into this game expecting blizzard conditions. The freaking head coach of the Miami, Florida Dolphins is at his last team practice wearing a t-shirt that says, "I wish it were colder." They cranked the air conditioning down to 55 degrees or something like that. And the Bills defense didn't expect the Dolphins to run the football. Maybe they did expect it, but I don't think you can sit there with me and say, "Oh no, I thought they bottled up the run just fine. I thought it was great. I thought they played the run perfectly." There were obvious run situations where it was just like, what is happening? Legitimately, how do you not realize that they're going to run the football here? And they're ripping off 10-yard runs, 12-yard runs, 8-yard runs, 7-yard runs. The one good thing that I did see from the Dolphins offense was the naked boots. The naked boots that they put Tua on were clever. They were well timed. They were well done. And, Tua seemed to thrive off of them. Now, I haven't seen a bunch of naked boots from Tua and this Dolphins offense in the past. It doesn't mean they haven't, or they have been doing it or haven't been doing it. It just means that I'm not used to seeing it. So the question, there's ways to defend those naked boots when your name is not Josh Allen. So defenses will adjust to that. But it was amazing to me as well that the Bills didn't cover the middle of the field. They basically just went in there with, "I know we have a book on how to beat you," from the 49ers and from the Chargers. In a situation of the 49ers wrote a book, the Chargers put a period at the end of the book and made the book even stronger. But you know what? We're not going to play press man necessarily. We're going to give you the middle of the field. We're not going to stop the run. And by God, it worked. It absolutely 100% worked. It's not the way that I would want to win this football game, but it worked. Considering the circumstances, the weather, the defense he was playing, the crowd, the situations, Tua played well. Again, he was accurate. That's what I'm going to say. So he was accurate. He was decisive. He didn't recklessly throw the ball to just portions of the field where nobody was at, like he did against the Chargers. He was composed. He played a very good football game. Now, how much of that the Bills, I would say, aided him, I don't know. The Bills still scored 32 points, but, they scored 29. I don't want to see the Dolphins put 29 on this defense. I think this defense is better than letting the Dolphins put 29 on them. I think they have the horses that it takes to keep the Dolphins in check. To me, I came into this game thinking the Bills could put 45 on them, maybe 50, especially with the weather. Didn't happen that way, but that's why they play the football game, right? But after the touchdown to Cook at the end of the half, you just felt like all that to say this, even with all that stuff I'm talking about, the Bills were in control that first half. You just felt like the Bills were firmly in control. And after that miracle touchdown, as time expired at the end of the first half, another one of those, just how does Josh Allen do this stuff? How does he do this? And it's not even like he does it once in a while. He does it again and again and again. Like, this is just who this big giant freak is. And it was funny to hear McDermott's post-game conference comments about how time was running out and had run out. And, Josh Allen threw that football. And had he missed that pass, that coach said that he was going to slash his tires in the parking lot or deflate them. He said he's going to deflate his tires in the parking lot. Just funny. You got to love the personality on this team. Like, it's just fun. But anyways, as I was saying, you get through the first half and you feel like, regardless of the score at that point in time, and I've got the score here just to refresh my memory so don't get it wrong. End of the second quarter was 21-13, right? The Dolphins at this point had scored on more possessions than the Bills. Is that right? 7, 10, 13. No, I guess 3-3. So the Bills had just scored at the end of the half. So 3 possessions to 3 possessions. But you just felt like the Bills were in control. Like, especially if they could come out at the end of the second half and put another tutty up. Another touchdown puts them at 28-13, and you're like, oh, it's not over, but the Bills they're completely in control. So even with, right, giving up the runs that they were given, even with giving up the middle of the field, even with allowing the Dolphins to kind of get the yards they wanted to take, take this stuff that we're going to give you. Take this, go ahead, take it. Even with that, they weren't really getting exploited. The Bills defense wasn't, right? And the offense was doing what the offense is supposed to do. All good stuff. And then the third quarter happened. Oh, the third quarter. It's funny because as soon as I said that, literally Roy Collins, this comment pops up. Our third quarter offense was awful. And then the third quarter happened. Dude, you can fire that third quarter right into the sun. Mitch Moore. When I found out that I said earlier that I was not nervous. I did get nervous. The time that I got nervous during that football game was when we found out that when I looked down at the field, and I saw 77, I was like, wait a second. Why that's what you do, right? When you see a backup lineman on the field, you're like, wait. I know I just saw Deion Dawkins, and I know I just saw Spencer Brown. Why is 77 on the field? Why is Quisenberry on the field? So I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, Ryan Bates is out. I see Van Roten is still on the. Oh no, Mitch Morse is hurt. That was legitimately when I got nervous. Mitch Morse just brings an element. If you get the opportunity to watch this game back, watch the first half of this game when Morse is like looking to find guys to clear blocks on. Literally just looking for contact off to Josh's left or Josh's right. So he makes his block, finishes that one, and then streaks across the other side and like wipes out another guy. Mitch Morse is just he's just a different dude when it comes to this. And this offense is notably different when Mitch Morse is not in the game. They're especially notably different when Van Roten is the center and not Ryan Bates. So you've got a drop off between Mitch Morse and Ryan Bates. And then Van Roten, who, I'm not saying I want him off my team. Van Roten is actually a really good guard. I mean, there was mishandled snaps again. There's just stuff that I don't want from a Van Roten centered football team. So I got a little bit nervous when Mitch Morse got injured. But like I said, you could fire that third quarter straight into the sun. Penalties, the strip sack, defensive errors. The Bills in the third quarter of this football game hurt themselves a bunch. Stefon Diggs came up limp. It looked like his hip. And then later he actually had another play where he took himself out. And when he took himself out, I could see him perfectly because I'm on the visitor sideline. He literally went over to the sideline and knelt down and was in obvious pain. Now, he came back in the game and he celebrated with the team. So you don't know how badly he's hurt or if he's injured at all. But if I was a guessing man from what we have seen from this team in the past, I would not expect to see Stefon Diggs suit up this week against the Bears because of the injury and because of the opponent, if that makes any sense. I think the Bills probably going to look at this and say, we can win this game and allow Diggs to get healthy for the playoff run. But yeah, so that third quarter, you want to see good teams, and I'm going to get a little bit ahead of myself. You want to see your team become a good team. And you know you're a good team when you can overcome mistakes that really hurt you. Now, the Bills had, I think the number was 6 mistakes where they hurt themselves the first time they played the Dolphins, and they couldn't overcome them. They just could not overcome those mistakes. They committed enough mistakes in the third quarter of this football game that it literally could have slipped away from them, but they overcame them. And that's what you want to see from your team. That's when you know your team is becoming a good team. More on that in a second. So as the third quarter's going on, and I'm like, what is happening? What is happening? The Dolphins have had the ball for the entire third quarter. Penalty after, like, we had that one drive where it was just like penalty, sack, penalty. Like, it was just crazy. I exaggerated there. It's true. But you know what I'm talking about. I just kept looking up at the sky. Like, literally. Third quarter late, I'm looking up at the sky and I'm like, when is the snow going to show up? For the love of everything holy, when is the snow going to show up? I mean, don't get me wrong. As I said earlier, I was glad up to that point that it had not snowed, because I was sitting there late in the third quarter and I was warm. It wasn't windy. Bills were playing well. I mean, they were losing at that point in time, but they were playing well. I was fine. Wasn't cold in the stadium. But it just felt like the Bills needed an assist. You know what I'm talking about? Like, they needed that over the top against the Dolphins assist. And then the wonderful white stuff started falling, and the Dolphins folded like a chair. The Dolphins folded like a chair as the Bills just began to line up and play smash mouth football. It was a thing of beauty. I literally looked at McKenna and I was like, this is just good old-fashioned football right now. Like, they were just lining up and running the ball at will, and when they needed to make a throw, they made a throw. McKenna looks back and she's like, why can't they do this all the time? I was like, why can't they, McKenna? Why can't they? It was almost a role reversal where the Bills should have been completely clued in that the Dolphins early were going to run the crap out of the football based on what the expectations were for the weather, and couldn't stop them, to now the Dolphins, the script flipped. The Dolphins turned into the team that couldn't stop the Bills, regardless of the fact that they knew that they were going to run the football. And the Dolphins started throwing the football in the snow instead of running the football. It was just a weird situation. It was a weird game. And then Josh Allen, the North American Yeti, put a pin in that one. The North American Yeti that is Josh Allen rips off a whole bunch of runs, and then the backbreaker, the crushing run. And then you just can't say enough about I can't remember the dude's name on the Dolphins that blew up McKenzie for that pass interference. It was a poorly officiated game overall. Josh had a grounding penalty that did not get called. There were several pass interferences or illegal contacts early on the Bills that did not get called. There was just a lot of stuff. And then clearly they were calling holding penalties on the Bills offensive lineman Roger Saffold over and over and over again. And like, the Dolphins didn't really have any holding penalties called on them. It was a poorly officiated football game. It just is. It is what it is. But the way that it ended was awesome to see the crowd there the whole game. The crowd was into it the whole game. There was a point that somebody said that, like, I can hear a pin drop. You couldn't. The crowd was. There was a couple lulls, but it was never quiet in the stadium when the defense was on the field. But overall, it was a freaking fantastic football game. And, Victory Mondays are about beating divisional opponents. This is why we're here, right? This is what we want to do. We want to beat those teams that know us the best. And one of those teams legitimately is the Miami Dolphins. So here the Bills sit at 11-3 in firm control, firm grasp on their destiny. Still a huge lead for the AFC East. They're going to win the AFC East. They're going to be AFC East champions for the third year in a row. And the number one seed, if they can just handle their business, the number one seed is theirs. So let's take a real quick moment to talk about the Western New York Beer Trail. A brand new 2023 Trail Pass from Western New York Beer Trail is now available. The 2023 Pass is bigger and better than ever, and there's no better time to get ready for next year than right here, right now. The new pass features 53, I almost said 73, 53 area breweries, cideries, meaderies, and beer bars all over Western New York, while almost every stop still offers the 2 half-price beers. With your pass, there are several other offers available from select locations, such as discounts on flights, food, and merchandise. You can save over $400 with all the offers in this book. Now, this book right here is what I'm talking about. This book that I just said you can save $400 on is only going to cost you $30. So what is the return on your $30 investment, especially if you are a craft beer lover in Western New York? If you're a craft beer lover and you don't have this book for $30, that's actually cheaper when I give you this code, and it's going to save you $400. I don't know what you're doing. Whatever you're doing, you're not doing it right. The 2023 Trail Pass and other beer trail items are available at our website, www.westernNewYork.com. Just click the shop tab. And now through November, right now, not through any time, currently, if you use the code, which is right here, the voice 15, you're going to save 15% off of your entire order. This is the perfect way to start your holiday shopping early and even get yourself a little something. We at Western New York Beer Trail are proud to support everything local, craft beer, small business, and local charities, and podcasts like mine. Watch for our meetups and fundraising events along the way. Western New York Beer Trail. Drink local, support local. We'll see you on the trail. That is the Western New York Beer Trail. And I appreciate Tom a lot. So he's a good dude, good partner for this show. Story of this football game. We're getting close to being at the end here, guys. Story of this game. Great teams, as we talked about, do things, right? You want your team to do things that effectively point them in a direction or point you in a direction to begin to know that they're a good team or a great football team. One of those things is imposing their will on people. Great teams also win games when they have self-inflicted wounds. There's a lot of conversation about the Bills in 20 and 2021. We've had them where, the Bills are now the hunted, blah, 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 blah. What does that mean? I don't think the Buffalo Bills were anywhere near quite the hunted as they are now. I think there's an aspect. You go back to like 2020 and the Bills are now the hunted, and like Robert Saleh called Josh Allen, like, what do you call him? Like a Cam Newton prototype. He's kind of like a Cam Newton. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, have you watched football? Because Josh Allen is not Cam Newton, not even close. He's better, a lot better than Cam Newton. Everybody knows the Buffalo Bills at this point. You're in a situation when you look at Von Miller, right? You look at Von Miller, who came to Buffalo, and he makes the comment, I watched all the Bills games. So when he was a Ram, he was watching the Bills games. These players are watching the Bills play. These players on other teams want to play against the Buffalo Bills, and they want to show out when they play against the Bills. And they want to beat the best. They want to beat the Bills. The Bills are far more the hunted now than they ever have been. Ever have been. Teams literally bring their best games. And I know we hear that a lot, and it's hard because for us, it just looks like the Bills aren't playing well. Well, I know that you're telling me that other teams are bringing their best game against the Bills, but I think the Bills just aren't playing well. I think Ken Dorsey's not calling a good football game. I think that, Tremaine Edmonds isn't playing as well. I think we missed Micah Hyde. Well, a big part of that is the matchup. A big part of that is the game plan. A big part of that is the players on the opposite side of the field and their dedication to the game plan that they've got in front of them and how they're going to execute it and how they're going to execute and match up against this Bills team. Are they going to come in chest puffed out and ready for the fight, or are they going to fold like a chair? And generally speaking, people are up for the challenge when it comes to this Bills team. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't make mistakes, the Bills. Doesn't mean that they don't have an issue with tackling. They clearly do. It doesn't mean that they don't go through offensive lulls at times. They do that as well. But the Bills are finding ways to win. They're finding ways to win. And to me, that is the most important thing. But more than that, and literally the story of this football game, and it's almost the story of every football game, this football team offensively is unstoppable inside 2 minutes. Unstoppable inside 2 minutes. When they need it, when the Bills offense needs it most, they're unstoppable. And it's been that way since the Chiefs game last year, when they did it twice inside 2 minutes. But when you take all of this conversation and this narrative and you wrap it up in a ball, right? You talk about we've hurt ourselves in this game. You talk about we've kept you in it. We didn't bury you. We didn't step on your throat. Maybe our game plan wasn't as good to match up against yours. We, for some reason, in a blizzard, expected blizzard, thought you were going to throw the ball 50 times and you didn't. You ran it a lot. We messed up. We mixed it up. You blocked us up. Whatever it is, and it's close, right? When we needed it, what did we do? The story of this football game, to me, is effectively what has become the identity of this football team. The Bills are 11-3. And I know that I've gotten yelled at live a couple times in the last couple weeks about being a little too, quote unquote, negative or down in Bills wins, but there's always something to talk about. If there wasn't something to talk about, then I wouldn't be sitting here having these conversations with you guys. You wouldn't be listening. The Bills were waxing people 60-10 every game. You'd be like, there's nothing to listen to. The Bills are just really good. Why watch? Why listen? Why do anything? But what are they doing when they need it? What are they doing when their back is against the wall? What are they doing when it's not a double-digit win? What are they doing in a one-possession game? What are they doing when they're down late in the fourth, or late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter? What are they doing when it's a tie game, 29-29? Under 6 minutes left on the clock. The snow is falling. And the Dolphins punt the football back to you with, like I said, just under 6 minutes left in the clock. And you've got the ball on your 7-yard line. Especially after you just went straight down the field. You just went down the field to tie the game up. Your defense gives you the ball back. You get it back on the 7-yard line. Under 6 minutes, 29-29. Now's when you need it. What do the Bills do? They go right back down the field. They consume the entire clock. And they kick a game-winning field goal to further cement, establish, prove the point, put the period at the end of the sentence, cross the T, dot the I, that this is our division. We are the AFC East champions. And there's a reason that we are the reigning AFC East champions, and we are going to continue to be the AFC East champions. To me, that drive is not only the story of this game, but potentially you could go back in almost every Bills victory, I think, and find one of these drives. It's everything that you want to see. It epitomizes everything you want from your football team. And if they can do this, if they can continue to do this, continue to get healthy, continue to begin to figure things out where they're having some struggles, there's going to be a parade in this town someday. Hopefully next month sometime, or in 2 months sometime. Crazy. Let's real quick get to the Dude Awards. The Dude Awards. So on this show, we don't do arrow up, arrow down. We don't do thumbs up, thumbs down. We don't do buying stock, selling stock. We do the Dude Awards. So if somebody's played really, really well, we go, dude, great job, dude. You the man, dude. And if they did not play well, we go, dude, we got to talk, bro. Like, dude, bro, what's up? First Dude Award goes to Devin Singletary. I'm not going to lie to you when I tell you that, dude, thumbs up, dude. You did a great job, Devin. I was still a little bit nervous in the last two series as you were carrying the ball. The crowd was cheering for Devin, and I'm just sitting there going, hold on to the football. Hold on to the football. Please, God, hold on to the football. Devin put this game away. He was determined. He was decisive in his runs in those last two drives, found the holes, the cutback lanes, 6, 7, 8 yards per carry. Devin Singletary was clutch in this football game. He gets my first Dude Award. Great job, Devin. Second Dude Award goes to Josh Allen, that big North American Yeti. Josh Allen is just, he's a different machine, a different animal. It's awesome seeing him 2 weeks in a row continue to find himself and remember the person that he was pre-injury, right? And then the last Dude Award for me goes to Tre'Davious White. It was great to see Tre'Davious White in the game. He was in the mix. He was very much involved in a lot of gameplay. The ball was coming to him. He was making tackles. Yes, he got burnt on the Hill touchdown. Yes, he got beat a couple different times, but these are all steps that Trey's going to have to take to get back to the player that he was before the injury. Now, down dude awards. Dude, we got to talk. My first down dude award goes to Roger Saffold. Roger, we brought you in here to be better. I need you to be better. And this wasn't a John Fina situation where it's like, we had 60 snaps and you picked out the 2 that were bad. Roger did not play a good game in this. This wasn't a good game for Roger. I need Roger to be better. My next one, and I don't know who this falls on. I don't know if it falls on Leslie. I don't know if it falls on who, but whoever put this game plan together defensively, bad dude award. I did not like this defensive game plan at all. You did not block up the run or expect at all them to run the football. You didn't take away the middle of the field, and you did not play press man coverage against this offense, which they clearly have shown they struggle with badly. And it was cold outside, which is like kryptonite. Whoever put this game plan together and like gave it the seal of approval and the chef's kiss, this is the one. This is the game plan for us. As much as it worked, it almost didn't. But it worked. I know, but it almost didn't. Yeah, but Joe, it worked. Yeah, but it almost didn't. Had the snow not started falling and the Dolphins basically run for the tunnel once the snow started falling, I don't know that defensive game plan would have worked. Maybe it would have. And then my last down dude award, and you know what? Forgive me. It is what it is. My last down dude award goes to the Bills Mafia. And the reason that it goes to the Bills Mafia is we just need to be better than throwing snowballs on the football field. It just is what it is. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Got to take a quick drink. Hang on. So we're going to wrap this show up. After the football game, when I finally made it back to my truck after my 2-mile walk back, I sent out a tweet that said, how does that win have you feeling, Bills Mafia? The snow falls, and so do the Dolphins. Let me know how you're feeling. Reading your tweets tomorrow night. That's now on the Overreaction Show. The first one comes from the Grace Nerd Podcast at Grace Nerdcast. As a longtime Buffalo sports fan, I'm familiar with the sick, creeping feeling of a loss approaching. I felt it, but they crushed it anyway. A welcome change. Right there with you, dude. Totally get it. Like literally, I was looking at the sky going, where's the snow? We need an assist here, God. Send us some snow. C-Dub, hashtag Bills Mafia at ChrisWell73. Chris, thank you so much for being a part of the show every week. This win has me feeling better than all right. It was awesome. It was awesome seeing Morris and Hines getting their first TDs, but Cam Lewis running into the punter. I was going to give Cam a down dude award, but I think he's probably hard enough on himself, just so everybody knows. Dude, he says, dude. So apparently C-Dub gave Cam Lewis the down dude award. Bills, Bears, Battlestar Galactica. Go Bills, wildest dreams land. Got a quick super chat, another one from McMatty. McMatty, thank you so much again for being a part of the show. How huge has the Daquan Jones pickup been this year? He doesn't get a lot of hype, but the interior D-line is different this year. Well, all you need to know to answer that question, McMatty, is how well Tremaine and Matt Milano are playing. Now, I know that Matt Milano is playing better than before, but still playing well. He's always played well, but there's always been a lot of conversation around Tremaine Edmonds. Well, the reason Tremaine Edmonds is playing the way that he's playing is because he's being kept clean. And the reason that he's being kept clean is because Daquan Jones is that guy. Legitimately, to your point, that guy. So, yes, Daquan Jones is the man. Thank you for the super chat, bro. James Alexander Perks at Mr. J Perks 6789. Very evenly matched game. We were better in the air. They were better on the ground. Just when it looked like the game was getting away from us, down came the snow. Allen's running and well-executed clock management won us that game. Playoffs clinched. 1 seed next. Go Bills. Actually, AFC East is next, then the 1 seed. Thank you for being a part of the show, James. Brandon Altman at Brandon_Altman. Josh is back, he says. Second half almost gave me a heart attack, but the Bills pulled it out in the snow in the end. I think this team is turning the corner. If Josh turning the corner, they're 11-3. They're working on their third AFC East championship. Turning the corner. If Josh plays like he did in the first half, nobody can beat this team. Go Bills, wildest dreams land. Oh, got to retweet that one. Retweeting the wildest dreams land one. There wasn't one before that. Oh, there was one before that. C-Dub. Got it. Johnny O at JD 777-42869. What are even style points anymore. After Green Bay win, I was upset with their play. Now it seems almost every game since then has been similar, but just going to be happy that they won. That's all that matters in the NFL. Just win, baby. You were not wrong. Super Bowl LVII champs, my guy, Saxa Dave, all the way from the UK. Feeling like we're playoff bound and extremely thankful for Josh. Lots to be frustrated about, but life is too short. I'll just take the huge divisional win and enjoy Victory Sunday. Big dubs, baby. Go Bills. Bill S. at CRZY. Bill, this game was like the X-Men. Sometimes you need a storm to make the difference. Nice. Well-placed reference. Josh does Josh things, and that's why we won. Our defense looked bad at times, but held when needed. Playoffs, baby. Hashtag Go Bills. Love it. Tyler Wilson at LaBounty Barber 1. I know Poyer has a bad arm, but the whole defense needs to stop trying to do WCW shoulder block takedowns for tackles. That's well said, in my opinion, by the way. We have to wrap up for the tackle. Isn't that what we're all taught growing up? Yes, 100%. Bills Media 716 at Bills Media 716. Cashing in receipts with Dolphins fans this week as we speak. They were way too cocky since week 3. Josh played like an MVP tonight. Defense was shaky, obviously, but got some key stops. Takeaway Trey is all the way back. One more win locks up the division. Go Bills. Go Bills indeed. Karen at G-O-O. Go. I always want to say Goo. At Go Sabres Bills. Another stressful game, and Josh again carrying this team on his back for the W. Wildest Dreams Land. Go Bills. Bills Mafia. That's my QB. Norm Herm, got a couple more for you. At Norm_Herm, we threw everything we've got at him. Snowballs, Allen balls, whatever. Big dubs. Me bang drum. At Base Drum Rule. Josh is still a beast in spite of our O-line. Does Aaron Cromer even come to practice games? Is he even in Buffalo? There's been pressure in Josh's face all year, and it's not getting any better. I have some concern there. Jerry Tobin at Jerry Tobin 88. I'm hoping Singletary will receive a positive dude award for helping us finish strong in that last drive. What a wild game. Devin Singletary indeed did get my first dude award. Autumn at Autumn RE_sports. Thank God we won. That's it. That's the tweet. Thank God we won. Ronnie at Ronnie Eastham. They're making plays when plays need to be made and finding a way to win. This toughness will serve them well come playoff time. That's exactly what I said. That's exactly the point. Don't blink at KHAZMIC at Hasmick, K Hasmick. Josh Allen, amazing happens. Wildest Dreams Land. Retweet. Jeff Tang at Cowboy Law 68. This win sets the tone for a Super Bowl run. You're not wrong. I'm right there with you. Let's go, Bills. Last one I got for you is J Brow 80 at JBrew 38. What was Frazier's game plan for the Finns run game? Everyone knew they were going to run in the snow except the Bills defense. Allen is an alien. Go Bills. Go Bills indeed, J Brow. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the tweets. Those are your tweets. Those are how the Mafia are feeling. Now, this is what I've got. So coming up tomorrow, this is going to post in podcast form also on the Overreaction Sports Network, which if you search in your podcast feed, Overreaction Sports, it'll pop up. I have Mafia Monday for you tomorrow. I've got Wake Up Wednesday on Wednesday and then Rapid Fire Friday. This past Friday, I had Matt Perino from Syracuse.com. Join me on the show as I threw 10 questions at Matt Perino. Jump back and listen to that if you get a chance. It was a great conversation, a great show. But be on the lookout for this show. And then obviously Mafia Monday as well, as I'm going to recap kind of what happened in the AFC East for the weekend. And then those tweets will be there as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have been tuned into the Overreaction Buffalo Postgame Show, brought to you by the Market Dominator team on the Buffalo Rumblings Vidcast Network. Thank you so much. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired, because I'm the voice of this here show. And I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. So do me a favor. Tell a friend. Retweet. Hashtag Wildest Dreams Land. Let's get the word out. Let's grow this thing. Let's get to the playoffs. Let's win the AFC East. Let's get the number 1 seed. Let's win the Super Bowl. Right? Doesn't that just sound like fun? Let's have a parade. Let's have a parade. For Buffalo Rumblings, for the Market Dominator team, for Tom over at Western New York Beer Trail, Joe Miller signing off. Next time I talk to you, it'll be Christmas. Crazy. Go Bills.